I really had no idea that this was the direction my life was going. I knew that art was important to me, but I didn't know how much I could use it to help other people. And I'm so glad that I've had this opportunity because it's been emotional and it's been awesome and it's been hard. But it's also been like one of the best experiences of my life. My name is Ashleigh Nearhoof, and this is my advice. So the way that I've started doing Arts for Healing was really just being a playful artist my whole life and not really ever using it too much to be as a form of judgment. Art has always been something for me that has been healing without really recognizing that it was healing me until I put the effort into it. Evolution Expressions is the program that I help run. The program started through Evolution Counseling Services. They've been our backbone the whole time that we've kind of been creating these great moments with kids and families here in Blair County. They've really encouraged using art as a way to heal. Arts for Healing is different than what you would say is creating art for visual pleasure. What we do is create art to heal what ails us inside. So whatever that may be, physically, mentally, art can do those things for you without really having to be judgmental or perfect. That's exactly what we're trying to get away from in Arts for Healing, is that we want to let go of those personal judgments on what we feel like perfection is in art and just simply create it, look at it and say, why did I make this? Like, what does this mean to me? Why did I use these colors? Why did I create these shapes? What was I feeling when I put those colors on the page? What do these colors represent to me in my life, not what they represent to other people in their life? Visual beauty is not the goal in Arts for Healing. It's what did you get from it? Process, not product, is what we're constantly preaching in Arts for Healing, because it is hard. We've been raised to think that when you create art, it should be something perfect. It should belong in a museum. It should belong in a gallery. But that's not what we're doing. What we are doing is using art to feel good, not because it was perfect. Look at this crazy little monster. He's not perfect. He's anything but perfect, but he's perfectly awesome, But also, when you're creating something like this, you're really freeing yourself from the daily thoughts that constantly swirl around in our minds, or the stress that you had at school that day, or the fact that your friend didn't do what they said they were going to do for you that day, or, whatever frustrating thing is going through your head. That's really what Arts for Healing has been about for me, is just helping people let go of that perfectionism in their life, It doesn't have to always be about art. It can be about anything that you want to relate it to. Perfectionism is not something you need to strive for. The moment that we can let go of that and just kind of accept that, the process of getting to perfection is what is the enjoyable part. The end product doesn't always have to be the goal. Enjoy the process along the way. And that's something we teach a lot in especially our adult Arts for Healing groups. And teenagers too, they're really tough on themselves, but adults are the hardest on themselves. When adults come into these experiences, they're really holding on to that perfectionism, or they're holding on to the fact that they feel like they haven't done things right their whole life, and so why would art be any different? When you're holding on to things that are negative, it comes out in you in ways that you may not even realize, So doing an activity like this and putting that on paper, and sometimes just actively having a thought about it, helps you start that process. Our Moms Club that we do is a really difficult group to get people to attend. When we do get those moms there, we're trying to help them see, like, hey, this group of people here, like, we're here to hang out, have fun, create something together, laugh about it together, have a meal together, and talk about the things that frustrate us, about being a mom, or, being a parent, or being just an adult in general, things that you just didn't, you didn't prepare for when you were a kid, or when you had kids, things that you didn't think about would happen. It's nice to be able to sit in a room full of people who ultimately understand that. And I think that we always kind of assume that people will be judgy about our lives, but when we're all together, it just doesn't happen. I know so many people that we've worked with, even years down the line, come to us and say, "Oh, I still have that thing we made in Mom's Club hanging up at my house." And I'm like, oh, that makes me so happy, because you saw it for what it was worth. You didn't not put it on your wall because it wasn't perfect. You put it there because it made you feel good, and that's what art should do. Mom's Club is definitely one of those clubs that if I can just show you one experience, you'll be hooked. We have a small group right now that we've done that. We've finally got that with, over at the beginning of summer, we took a small group of moms from our programs to Piney Creek Greenhouse in Martinsburg. It's a beautiful place. I don't know how you can go there and feel bad, like just being amongst all of the wild, beautiful flowers and the nature and the wildlife, and it's great. But we took a little field trip up there. That was the first time a lot of them had ever come to a group at Evolution. They were very unsure of what they were getting themselves into. And that day sold a lot of people because they realized, wow, we just hung out and got to be ourselves, and nobody was mean to me. Nobody looked at me funny. Nobody said something to me that hurt my feelings, like I thought they would. And then they come back again, and then again, and you're like, oh, thank gosh we caught some momentum here, When people are saying, oh, I'm not good at art, or I'm not good at dancing, or oh, I don't want to do music, I'm not good at that, it tells me that they're just being too hard on themselves. Like, let that go. Stop trying to be the best. Just like do it and enjoy it. If you're terrible at it, like enjoy that you were really bad at it and just kind of laugh at it. I have been in that place many times in my life, especially hanging out with kids all the time. Like, they are quick to let you know when you are not perfect. And that's the fun part about them, but also can be the tough part about them. If you hold on to those words too much, it can make you feel a way, But that's what I think, is that I think they're just being a little too tough with themselves, and they could use some art for healing, that they could learn a little bit about themselves, that they could let things go a little more, and it would better them in ways they wouldn't even realize. It's as simple and as difficult as that. What we're doing isn't complex. It's just healing. You're just doing something to feel good, right? And it's something healthy. It's something you can do every day. It's not something that you have to have a lot of supplies to do. And you can get creative and use whatever is in your environment. We take kids out a lot in nature and help them create. We call them mandalas. Mandalas, we know, is like these really creative, elaborate circle design drawings, and how they started is in native cultures, when they would create these mandalas. It was an outside piece, and they would create it with sands and rocks, and they would spend so much time creating this big, elaborate, beautiful piece, and then they would let it be destroyed. It wasn't something that they meant to keep forever. It wasn't something that was meant to be substantial or tangible. It was, I created this as a meditative activity, something to free my mind, something to feel good about myself, as a coping skill. And we'll do that in nature, collect things, on a nature walk with kids, and either like in the community or at a local park, and we'll give them a list of things, find an item that's soft, harsh, or leafy, or flowery, or something that speaks to you, something that was man-made, that was left behind. And then we'll bring all those things back, and we'll create a nature mandala, and just, let it be, And some people really struggle with that. Some people, when they make something, they want to hold on to it, and they want to remember it forever. So we'll take pictures and, hold on to it in that sense. But also, it's another skill that you can have something for a short amount of time, enjoy it, and set it free and still appreciate it for what it was without having something tangible to hold on to for the rest of your life. You know, it can just be what it was in the moment, right? It's like a picture, you know. Sometimes in those moments, you know, when you're having so much fun and you're living this experience and you're loving it, and after it's over, you're like, oh, I didn't take a single picture yesterday during that thing I did, and I'm so mad. But then, you know what, on the flip side, right? Like, let's flip the script on that mentality and think, I was having such a good time, I didn't even want to stop and photograph it. I just wanted to feel it and live it. And I can live in those memories, and they can be just as important. And that's kind of like that mandala mentality, right? Like, I made it, I created it. I don't have to have it forever. And it can be purposeful for what it was in the moment, and I can set that free and be okay with that. We can't rely on others to be the healers for what we know is inside of us. We need to be able to trust ourselves to do that job. There are all sorts of avenues you can take. This is one avenue. This is one avenue you could try, you know, that you may find yourself saying, wow, this helped me more than anything I've tried. Art can be that for people, and that's why I love it.